Very good morning to you, Mr. Smith. And first of all, what do you make and what have you heard about from Seema Malhotra about these allegations of illegal entry into her office?
Well, I don't know anything about it, Dermot. I've seen the stuff in the papers this morning. I think it's for Seema to talk about that. I think the key thing is, look, we need a positive debate in the Labour Party now about the future of our party. That's why I'm standing. My grave worry, as you will know, Dermot, is that the party might split apart, that having been a great force for good in Britain for 100 years and more, we could cease to be that. And my worry has been that we are not looking at the moment like a government in waiting. We don't look like a credible, powerful opposition and one that people can imagine running the country. And I think that's what we've got to be, because the Tories, you know, with their austerity programme been causing damage in my constituencies and constituencies like mine across Britain, and it's time for Labour to really get up off its knees and start fighting back against the Tories. And I know that's what Jeremy wants too, but I'm not sure he can do that. And I'm saying to Jeremy, I think it is time for us to hand the flag on to a new generation of Labour leaders to take that fight to the Tories.
Well, you know Jeremy wants that. You don't think he's capable of it. But do you believe that Jeremy and indeed John McDonnell, who's been saying it again today, really want to stop this infighting, the attacks that are going on? You're saying that many of them are coming from the Corbyn side. Those attacks, and they're causing that feel about Labour that it really isn't fit to govern.
Well, I hope they do both want all of these things to stop. I'm sure they do. Look, we all want the Labour Party to be a powerful opposition to the Tories. We all want us to be a united opposition, but we haven't been in recent months. We've become more and more divided, more and more fractious. Some of that is about concerns about Jeremy's leadership and whether he's really a leader of men and women. He's a principled man and someone who's got deep Labour values. But our question is, can he take the Labour Party to where we need to be, which is in power? Because without winning elections, without Labour being a serious party of government again, then all the principles are just hot air. If we can't put them into practice through winning power to exercise it on behalf of people, then what's the point of being in this game?
But, I mean, just on that, Mr. Smith, would you like to see a more full-throated denunciation of some of the abuse that's going on from Jeremy Corbyn?
I would, but I've said that before, Dermot, and I think, you know, time is now, frankly, in this leadership contest for us to start talking about what it is we want to do. I'm very clear. We need a Labour Party that is saying to the country, we've been floating the banks and floating finance for a long time here. We need to start floating the people. I want to talk about my plan for a British New Deal to spend £200 billion on new schools, new hospitals, FE colleges, skills, sure start centres. That's the sort of language that Labour voters and Labour members, I think, are crying out for from a Labour government. And we've not been good enough at sketching out what our manifesto, what our prospectus for winning back power is. We weren't good enough in the last period of opposition. We haven't been good enough recently. It's time for Labour to get back on the front foot. We've got a really, you know, radical right-wing Tory government here. They're hiding behind some of our language, but the truth is austerity, cuts and more cuts, and now Brexit leaving our country in crisis. Right. We've never needed a more powerful opposition, and we've never looked further from power.
All right, well, let me ask you about Brexit, because you want a second EU referendum, and this is about political will. I mean, it's only a month ago when it was clear from the United Kingdom that the people want to leave the EU. Why do you want to thwart that?
Well, it was a very marginal decision, and I completely respect that people who voted on either side of it did so in good faith. But I think a lot of people now feel that they were fibbed to, they were lied to by some of the Brexiteers. This 350 million quid a week we were meant to get for the NHS, an end to immigration, all of these things were lies, obviously. And I think it is now right for us to say the Labour Party should be arguing for a proper debate, a proper negotiation, a tough negotiation on behalf of the British people to make sure that we know exactly what the terms of the deal will really be, as opposed to what was promised. And at the end of that, we've got to have the courage to say to the British people, we trust you once more to say, is this what you wanted? Is this what you imagined Brexit was going to look like for Britain? Or is it not? And people in this country, I think, will respect a Labour government that says to them, we trusted you last time, but we will trust you again in 18 months or 2 years' time, either in a second referendum or at another general election in which we're arguing to stay in the European Union. I firmly believe we're better off in Europe, but I respect the views of those who said no. I'll also respect them to rubber stamp the deal when the moment comes.
All right, I mean, there's another question coming your way, I suppose, about political will, and it's within your own party, as you will accept Jeremy Corbyn won overwhelmingly last year when he was elected leader of the Labour Party, and all the polling telling us now he's going to do it again. Why do you think you can thwart that?
Well, because I think I've got the ideas and the energy, and I think I've got something to say about what the future of the Labour Party looks like. The truth is, we've got massive challenges in this country, Dermot. Challenges of productivity, challenges of communities feeling that they've been going backwards for a long time under successive governments. And Labour, when we are at our best, we're united and we're telling a hopeful story about the country. And I think we can do that. I know what we need. We need investment in this country. We need a new deal that's going to pump billions of pounds into communities. You know, the Northern Powerhouse, it's a great idea from the Tories, but at the moment that's all it is. Let's make it a reality. Let's turn our northern cities into real powerhouses of our economy. Let's invest in the bits of Britain that we keep reading about that feel left behind. That's what Labour can do. And if I'm given a chance to lead our party, that is what I will turn us into, a party that is giving people a sense of hope, that is firing their aspirations, their ambitions.
I mean, but a big part, of course, of Labour's revival has to be renewing its appeal in Scotland after what happened at the general election. Do you think that can happen? And let's just look at your vote for Trident. Again, the Scottish people voted overwhelmingly for the Scottish National Party in the general election, and it's explicit. They don't want Trident. You do.
Well, I'm just being honest with people, Dermot, about that. I'm someone who firmly believes we want a world, all of us in Labour, without nuclear weapons. I'm a multilateralist. I'm a Bevanite on that and lots of other things. We all want to get rid of all of the bombs across the world. But I don't believe that the way to do that is to unilaterally get rid of ours first. I know the argument. The argument is that we would encourage others to do likewise. But I'm afraid I think that's a bit naive. And I'm afraid that securing the defence of the realm, securing the security of the British people has to be uppermost in our mind. And the world, to me, I don't know about you, Dermot, but every day I pick up the newspapers, it looks more volatile, more unpredictable, more dangerous. So I don't think it's the right moment for us to just get rid of our defences. I think it's the time for us to stand strong in the world, to look out to the rest of the world and to say, let's be in the vanguard, if you like, of getting rid of nuclear weapons. Let's use ours as a bargaining chip to get everybody to start thinking once more about how we collectively get rid of nuclear weapons across the world. That's been Labour's policy more or less since the 1950s, and I think it should be our policy going forward. OK. Good to talk to you, Mr. Smith. Thank you very much indeed, Owen Smith. Thanks a lot.